And then will all the buses go there? instead
Yes.
of Here?
All the buses would go there, and it's nestled right next to the Salobo School. Yeah. Any other questions on finance?
Yeah, again, also on the bus depot. Just have a question. Did we ever have an opportunity to find out what were the capabilities that were going to be included to support the zero emission vehicles in the future? And was the architect including that in the design?
I've shared with them that. This is to approve for them to begin a design. So they'll be giving us options within that. So until we approve them and issue them a purchase order, they haven't really done any design other than share with us what they've done in other districts.
Just out of curiosity, did we ever, I know we discussed before, did we ever identify what those capabilities that we would need included in those designs so that we give that to the architects so that they can include it?
I did share with them that that's something that we wanted to, as an option in the design.
Any more questions on finance? Okay, seeing that, I'm going to move along to student achievement. We have some more course title changes there for you to approve. That's number 3 on page 16. Also on on page 16, number 4, as I mentioned earlier, we're asking you to approve the pilot girls flag football athletic program at the high school for both the 2021-2022 and the 2022-2023 school years. Any other questions on student achievement? Seeing none, let's move to governance.
I have one.
Oh, go ahead.
I think it was like 2 years ago, we had approved, or you guys had approved, no one on the board at the time, the varsity letter for the theater. That still has not been done. So when is that going to take place?
I don't know, Mrs. Pabon, I mean, that's probably a question for the theater directors. That is in board policy, like we talked about. So it's a matter of the theater directors going ahead and awarding students with those. Any more questions on student achievement? Okay, moving along to governance, number 2, which you can find on page 18. This is an annual approval that we're asking you to make, and that's the approval of our 2021-2022 Public Schools Nursing Services Plan. And also an annual thing that's actually part of, both of these are part of CUSAC, which we will be participating in during the spring of next year. The Department of Education will be coming out and auditing our self-assessment ratings that we had you approve at the last Board of Education meeting. So they will be looking to see that we have an approved nursing plan, which we do, hopefully. And they'll be asking to see if we have an approved uniform state memorandum of agreement between the Sayreville Board of Education and law enforcement. And as you can see there, we're asking you to approve that, as well as an addendum to that. We've actually provided Mr. Esposito with 2, one for the Sayreville Police Department to sign and one for the Old Bridge Police Department to sign because of the Cheesequake School. If you go ahead and approve that, we'll then ask Mr. Esposito to sign and then send that to the Executive County Superintendent, who will sign both, and then send them to the Middlesex County Prosecutor for signing. Any questions on that or anything else in governance? Okay, I direct your attention now to personnel, beginning with numbers 9 and 10, as well as 35 and 36, which you can find on page 24 through 26 in the addendum. As we always do, we're asking to hire new certificated and non-certificated staff for this school year. Likewise, numbers 11 through 17 and number 37, which you can find on page 26 and 30 and the addendum, we're asking you to approve the transfer of certificated and non-certificated staff for the school year. As I mentioned earlier, number 22, which you can find on page 31, we're asking you to approve the increase to the hourly wages of our lunchroom playground aides, hall monitors for this school year due to the state of New Jersey minimum hourly wage increases, which again are effective January 1st. Numbers 24 through 28, which you can find on pages 31 through 33, we're again asking you to approve staff for the elementary and middle school math and literacy academies, Tier 3 tutoring, as well as English language learner tutoring. And then finally, as Mrs. Kenny, or Mrs. Carey, I like to call her, said earlier during her report, we're asking you to approve teachers to supervise the NJHS after-school homework help program at the middle school, which we're very proud of. Any questions on personnel? Mr. Esposito, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you so much. One last time before we go to approve, I'm glad to report. Any comments or questions in the photo? Great. There's still, yeah, absolutely. Why don't you do that?
So I just want to thank everyone again for all their kind words. I certainly wasn't expecting them, and I'm touched by them. I did prepare something that I wanted to share because I thought if I just tried to go off the top, I would leave somebody out. Although sometimes when I read, as you notice, in any other report, I leave something out anyway. But let's see, hopefully this will work. So I just wanted to mention that 3 years ago, when I ran for this position, it wasn't because I wanted to change things or because I was upset with something or that I wanted to take someone's place. It was actually the opposite. I was extremely happy with the experience my children were having and all the opportunities they were provided. And I thought it would be amazing to be a part of it. I thought that my experience as a teacher, as a parent of multiple students in the district, and as a lifelong Cerebral resident, that I had some perspectives worth sharing. And it was my hope that I could contribute to an already well-run establishment. There was a learning curve for sure. I asked a lot of questions, as John mentioned. I absorbed a lot of information, and everyone involved here was very patient, kind, and helpful. I learned that there are a lot of things that are not within the board's purview, and I learned of a myriad of laws, policies, and overall ethics that are in place and keep certain things out of board and district control. I learned that there are usually 3 sides to every story, and that what's discussed on social media is usually not even close to the reality. I also learned, and this was not proven until tonight, that it is about 10 degrees colder in this seat than anywhere else in this building. But most importantly, I learned that this board, our district administrators, and our superintendent always look at things from a number of perspectives, and it is our duty to serve many groups, the students and their parents, the faculty and staff, and the community at large. It's not always easy to find one decision to satisfy such diverse groups, but I assure you that all sides are represented and considered. Over the past 3 years, we faced some challenging issues. There was sickness and loss amongst our staff. There were some serious personnel issues. There were some discipline situations. We needed to choose a replacement board member, who I'm happy to say was a true asset, and you're lucky to have Rosemary and January take my place. And of course, there was a pandemic, which brought out the worst in some and the best in others. I was honored and privileged to be part of the Be Strong Group of volunteers, where I was so proud to see all that our district was doing to provide for our community. For all 3 years, I enjoyed serving on the Student Achievement Committee, where I hope I added value and decisions that provided opportunity for our students as well as for our faculty. And I was honored to serve on the Student Discipline Committee, where I hope I had a positive impact or left an impression on some of our young friends. Overall, during these past few years, this position has provided opportunities to celebrate, to reflect, to laugh, to cry, to agree, to disagree, to make some tough decisions, and sometimes be frustrated at the inability to make decisions. It was not an easy choice to decide not to run again this year, but I've chosen to focus on some new endeavors in my private life. It's my hope, though, that in the future, when my time is less restrained, that the public might once again choose me to serve this amazing community if the opportunity arises. So to our staff, thank you for trusting me. Thank you to those who supported me, and thank you for all the hard work you do every day for our children. To our administrative staff, I don't think anyone could possibly comprehend the amount of hours you dedicate, the seriousness of the decisions that you're forced to make, or the tremendous weight you carry on your shoulders at all times, and I thank you for all that you do. And lastly, to the board, thanks for being open-minded. Thanks for making the hard choices and helping me make them too. Thanks for wanting the best for our amazing town. You are often the scapegoats and the ones who take blame first, but rarely the ones recognized for the positives. You do a thankless job, but you all do it very well. Thank you for letting me be a part of these next few years. Thank you.
You really will be missed now. Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to accept Dr. Labby's superintendent report. Mrs. Moon? Second. Mr. Wall? Excuse me, roll call, Ms. Lopez?
Mr. Vaca?
Okay, number 35 or 36 in finance, I'm gonna vote no on, but it's not because I'm against the project, I'm just not sold on location yet. Yes on all other items.
Mrs. Bloom?
Yes.
Mr. Fernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Kenny?
Yes.
Mrs. Napolitano?
Page 2, number 5, I'm abstaining on check number 154663, yes on everything.
Mrs. Pavone?
Yes, I just wish we could give a little more money to our minimum wage earners.
Mr. John Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick Walsh?
Yes.
And Mr. Esposito?
Yes. Thank you. So, at this time, we open up to the public for any items pertaining to the district. Anyone online?
Just confirming if they want to speak.
Okay.
Give me 2 seconds.
Please, come on. State your name and address, please.
Good evening. My name is Dan Buchanan, 180 West Coast Street, in the South Amboy section of Saraville. My wife and I are here for one reason, and that's just to thank Carrie. Several years ago, when we discussed her running, it was a no-brainer. With her expertise in the education field, with her parenting skills and abilities, and her pure intelligence, we knew that she'd be a good board member. Unfortunately, she didn't have the campaign that she thought she would. And there was definitely some hiccups in the beginning campaign, but she was successful anyhow. And that was her first tough decision at that point in time, right before the election. Carrie, thank you for always making the decision based on the information, not on partisan persuasion or special interests. You always took the facts and put your personal opinions aside to make those decisions. And that's how you were able to sleep at night. Again, you made a tremendous impact on our family and the families that go to this district. So again, thank you for your years of service, and we look forward to you coming back.
Thanks, Dan.
You have someone online?
I know, they don't want to speak, you're good.
Okay, does anyone else who would like to speak? We'll close public at this time. Excuse me. Any final thoughts on the board before we move on? No? Okay. I'd like to make it a motion to adjourn, please.
Second.
Mrs. Kenny. All in favor, say aye.
Merry Christmas.
See you guys in January.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah.